If you run a business, you should be listening up. I think alarm bells should be ringing over this proposal. Unions could soon be granted big brother-like powers to access any business's digital work systems. This is a proposal in New South Wales. If this passes, it'll be a free-for-all, say businesses, for unions to access business data, including private emails, HR systems and databases, even payroll information. Unions say they want this so they can investigate breaches of the Work Health and Safety Act. Businesses, including cafes and restaurants and hospitals and banks, could all be impacted. And they're worried that the guidelines are too broad. They say this is a disaster waiting to happen. Sophie Cotsis is the Minister responsible in New South Wales, and she's here to try and explain it. Sophie.
Since 2020, there have been a number of inquiries in the New South Wales Parliament with respect to changes to the way that we do work. We work very differently, and back when I was working at Sydney Airport, we used to work differently. When my parents worked in the factories, they worked differently. We need to make sure that our work health and safety laws are keeping up to the changes in the way that we work.
Okay, but if I'm running a business, I don't want you looking in my emails or my database or my HR or payroll or anyone, whether they're from a union or any outside body. And isn't that my right?
Ben, can I say you're absolutely right, and I agree with you 100%. And so I'd like to allay the concerns and the fears that businesses and employers and many organisations have out there, that what we currently have in work health and safety laws is that, for example, Safe Work New South Wales or work health and safety entry permit holders, if there's a contravention of a breach of work health and safety, we have to make sure that workers are safe. But if there's contravention, they can go onto site. But there are very, very strict rules. Those rules exist now. They exist now, and this is
for work health and safety officers to go on site. You mean
for work health and safety officers? That's right.
What, and from what organisation? Are they from government or are they?
No,
from
they
unions?
They can include union officials, the safety regulator.
Yeah.
Those laws already exist.
Yeah, to go onto a site and make sure that everyone's safe.
Absolutely, but there are very, very strict rules around what they can look for and what they can do. You can't just, and I agree, you can't just go on site willy-nilly.
Okay, but we're not talking about people going on site here. You're talking about people going into others' computer systems.
Well, I want to make that very clear that that's not the case here. There are very strict privacy laws, very strict laws around privacy or personal information. What we're talking about is that there are new systems of work. When I was working at Sydney Airport, we'd have the roster that would be put up on the board, and you'd know your shifts in advance, a week in advance. You'd have your meal breaks, your shift breaks. At the moment, there is a new part of our economy, the gig economy, where we've got home care workers, logistics, warehouse workers, rideshare workers, whose roster now, so if I can make it in simple terms, whose roster now is through an AI algorithm, through an artificial intelligence algorithm. Their work is allocated through that process. And so they go on and do their work. But for many of these people, this is a new way of working. And so the concerns that have been raised with us, with government, through these inquiries, is that the work intensification, the scheduling of the way their work is allocated. And so in some instances, there are risks and hazards. And we want to make sure that people, rideshare workers, are safe on the roads.
We've already got all these work health and safety laws. If a business is doing the wrong thing, they're investigated and they're punished. But you are talking about something entirely different here, which is allowing unions access to private businesses' information.
Can I make that very clear? That's not the case.
They won't be able to access any information from any business.
There are very strict rules.
You've got to tell the truth and say, yes, we are giving them access, but, Ben, there are very strict rules. Let's not pretend it's not happening. And I don't know where this has come from. Who even asked for this, Sophie?
Well, Ben, can I say that the rules already apply? The rules already apply now. If there is a breach, a safety breach, as we speak now, there is entry permit holders have got a right to go in and to investigate, to seek that information.
Not to go into people's private computer systems. I come from a family of small business owners, right? Yes. My mum and dad started a business in our garage. And I can promise you, and I haven't asked my mum about this, she would not want this one single bit. No one, not unions, not government. It's a private business. These people have taken on a lot of risk, a lot of debt. a lot of sacrifice to build their business. They don't need nosy people coming in and snooping around. And there are a lot of things that happen internally in businesses that involve private information.
There are already privacy laws as they exist now. There are privacy laws that apply. You cannot access.
Who asked for this? Who asked for this apart from your mates in the unions?
There are workers out there, thousands of workers who work in AI and technology, and the government supports the advanced technology. We support the
Sophie,
jobs and the
who
growth.
Asked for it?
Apart
from your mates in the unions, who asked for it? I can tell you, no one. No one asked for this. Where's it come from? This is what the Business Council says. These new laws hand unions, under the false guise of workplace safety, unprecedented access to any business. A union official will be able to, if they suspect a contravention of the Workplace Act, gain access to internal emails, HR systems, customer databases, payroll software or operational platforms. This applies to businesses small and large, from cafes to hospitals, and to every government department and agency in New South Wales, including those dealing with sensitive personal information data such as health, justice and customer service. Under the bill, a digital work system is defined as an algorithm, artificial intelligence, automation or online platform capturing almost every piece of software used in modern workplaces.
Ben, there are thousands of workers who work in warehousing, rideshare workers, home care workers.
Hang on, you've told me all that.
Yes.
Can you respond to what I just said?
Of course.
Let me fact check something here. This is from the Business Council.
Of course.
A union official will be who suspects a contravention of the Workplace Act can gain access to internal emails. True or false?
That's not correct, because all of this. So I'm
so
meeting.
They can't. Hang on. I want to do this one by one.
Okay.
They can't access emails.
Private information and personal emails are absolutely covered. They're off limits.
I didn't ask about private information and personal emails. Can they access emails?
With respect to...
The answer is yes, Sophie.
No, they can't access...
Well, say no.
Ben, we've got guidelines of what is of what these people have the ability to do.
Therefore is yes, they can access, but Ben, with guidelines around privacy surrounding
there won't be. No, this is about contravention. If I can, sorry, Ben, if I can
go
back.
No, I'm not finished here, Sophie.
Okay.
Can they access HR systems? I'll answer for you.
With respect to HR systems, with respect to contravention of safety, work health and safety, because businesses, and I'm meeting with the Business Council with having a roundtable today at 10:30.
I don't care what shape the table is. This is BS. No one asked for it. And if I'm a business owner, I don't want unions snooping around inside my business. And you can say all you want, oh no, there'll be protections in place. How many mornings do you reckon I come on air here and say, this bank has had its systems compromised, this insurance company has had their systems compromised, there's been another data hack, there's been another data breach. This happens all the time. And you're giving unions access to information that they've got no right to access.
No, they will not be. Nobody, and I agree with you. I agree with you and the businesses and your listeners. There is no way, and there are laws that exist now that will apply, that there is a very strict protocols in accessing information in relation to breaches.
Sophie Cotsis, by the way, is the person joining us if you're just tuning in, who's the minister responsible. I think you're trying to solve a problem here that doesn't exist.
Well, there's thousands of workers, Ben, and I've met many of them in home care, for example. If I can give you an example, there are home care workers who are, as you know, who drive to and from people's homes so they can look after them. And in some instances, some of the larger organisations in home care, they allocate work through an AI, through an algorithm, through the digital system. Now, in the rostering coordinators who used to operate the rosters, you would be, as a worker, as a home care worker, I'd be able to contact that person and say, look, I know I've got connections with these clients. These are the concerns that these clients have. Whereas with some of these new systems that are coming on, you don't have that one-on-one. You don't have that supervisor. And what we're trying to do is, and businesses say to me, we love our staff, we care about our staff, and we want to do everything we can to keep them safe. And we want to see that happen as well.
This example you've just given, you're losing me. So if I don't get it, so what? AI is setting up a roster, and the roster is going to be unfair, and it's going to have people working too hard. Most businesses aren't setting rosters through AI. And if there's a problem with someone's roster and they're working too much, or bosses are putting people in danger, we have laws in place, which you know full well because you're the minister.
That's right.
To police those things. But this is a step way too far, and I think it's an absolute joke, and I'm going to be campaigning hard against it.
Ben, what I wanted to say to yourself and to your listeners, and of course to businesses who I'm speaking with, is that these laws already exist to make sure that people are working in a safe environment, and we're making sure that they're protected from risks and hazards. What we're doing is we're applying the existing rules to digital work systems. People they're working under algorithms. They're working, so rideshare workers, as you know, and you've been a very strong campaigner for their safety. We've seen a number of them who've been killed over the last few years, and they get allocated their work through an algorithm. We want to make sure that they're safe.
Are you telling me that you're going to be able to access Uber's algorithm?
The issue here is making sure...
Do you know how valuable that is to Uber? Do you know their intellectual property?
That's why...
Their business is based around that algorithm.
No, I understand that.
So what, all of a sudden they're going to give that up and allow unions to look at it?
No, I understand. That's why we're talking to everyone. And these laws already exist now to make sure that people are safe, make sure that they're working in a safe environment. And I know that you've been a very strong...
Okay, I've only got a minute till the news. And look, I've got a lot of respect for you, Sophie Cotsis, as you know, but I'm completely against this idea. I think it's an absolute shocker. I don't think anyone asked for it, and I don't know why anyone would support it. Have you got the support you need to get it through Parliament?
Ben, we've presented... I introduced the bill at the end of last year. We listened. We've made changes. We've been continuing to speak to businesses and to workers, and I've heard from a lot of workers about the intensification and the hazards. We don't want to interfere with businesses. We want to see them grow. We are speaking... The bill's been introduced, and we go back next week, and we'll be talking to members.
Okay. I hope it gets killed off. But I do appreciate you coming in the studio this morning. We'll talk again soon.
Thank you, Ben. Thanks to your listeners.
Sophie Cotsis.